Hey, what's good, YouTube? Today we're going to be making another one of these tier list videos. Today we're going to be ranking the crabbiness of some of these crustacean Pokemon. And now I know not all of these Pokemon down here quite look like crabs. Of course, we have Crabby, we have Kingler, crabs for sure. Then we have Paris and Parasect, kind of crabs, like little fungus crabs. And we have Kabuto and Kabutops, which are based off of a horseshoe crab, but those aren't actually crabs. Then we have Corphish and Crawdont, which are, of course, lobsters. Dwebble and Crustal, based off of those hermit crabs. Then we have Clauncher and Clawitzer, based off of, like, lobsters, I think, as well. Then we have Crabrawler and oh my goodness, Crabominable. Now that is a tongue twister. Now anyway, today we're going to be ranking them based off of how crabby they are. So at the top of the tier we have the seething scallops, then the scornful shrimp, the moody mollusks, the prickly prawns, and the lovely lobsters at the bottom. So here's how we're going to do this. First off, of course, we have to start with the main man, Cookie the Crabbity Crab, Crabby. Alright, Crabby, you know, Crabby's a little bit crabby, but he's kind of on the happier side. So I think we're actually going to put Crabby in the prickly prawn category. And the reason for that is Crabby likes to blow bubbles. And so sometimes he's actually a little bit happy, but he's not always happy. He's not a lovely lobster. All right, next up, we have Kingler, of course. And you know, Kingler can be happy sometimes, but I think for the most part, he's a moody mollusk. For the most part, he's pretty upset about things. He's about to throw down a crab hammer and smack you upside the head. But sometimes he can smile and be happy, but it's pretty rare. All right, next up we have Paris, and you know what? I'm gonna actually go out on a limb and say Paris is a lovely little lobster. Paris actually can be quite happy. Paris, if you aren't aware, is actually slowly in the process of being taken over by the fungus infected on its back. But you know what? I think it handles it pretty well. I think it does. Next up, though, Parasect, which, look at these ping pong ball eyeballs. If you haven't already noticed that Parasect's eyeballs look like ping pong balls, you may never, ever unsee that. Now, anyway, Parasect, if you aren't aware, it is completely taken over by a fungus. Its brain functions have completely stopped. However, I believe deep down on the inside, it is seething anger towards that fungus. It has no control over its limbs and body anymore, but on the inside, it is still aware and seething in anger. All right, next up we have Kabuto. And you know what? I think Kabuto is also going to be a moody mollusk. He looks so creepy, and there's not much of emotion there, but I think sometimes he could be happy. I think it could happen. All right, next up, we have Kabutops, and there's no way out and about it. Kabutops is a seething scallop. It has been a fossilized Pokemon. It's been revived from the great beyond, and it is not happy about that. Okay, next we have the Corphish here, and you know, I think Corphish, out of all of these, Corphish and Crawdont might be the most difficult to rank, just because their eyeballs show like basically no emotion, and they also don't really have much of a face going on. So you just kind of have to go based off of how they interact in the games and in the anime and things. And you know, I think Corphish can be a little upset sometimes. So I'm gonna put Corphish in the moody mollusk category. I know we have a lot up there in moody mollusk. But next up, we are going to see Crawdont, the big crawdaddy, Claudia, the Closter. That's the adaptability of OU. That's going up into Scornful Shrimp up there. He's going to hit you with the Aqua Jet, the knockoff. You're going to have a bad time. But he's not quite a seething scallop. I think sometimes he tones it back a little bit. Okay, now one of my personal favorites. This is the cutie Dwebble. I don't think Dwebble is ever angry. Dwebble is so adorable. How could you look at Dwebble? How could you look at this thing and not say, "Oh, that is a lovely little Pokemon right there"? No, Dwebble goes into a lovely lobster. Okay. However, when Dwebble evolves, it becomes Crustal. And now Crustal has all this like this dirt and this rock and this like bedrock above on top of it. He's been collecting dirt. He's been collecting layers, and I think honestly, I mean, I know he's like that hermit crab trying to stay inside, but I think he's got a little bit too much. He's carrying too much on his back, and that makes him kind of, as we should say, crabby, and he's gonna be up there in the moody mollusk category. Okay, next up we have here Clauncher. Now Clauncher, he's just has built-in cranky eyebrows there. So Clauncher is of itself already, I think, a scornful shrimp. Look at, I mean, he just looks kind of angry. I think it's based off like a mantis shrimp anyway. And those things just like blast water out of their big old claws, and they'll bust out of their aquarium containers. No, 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 no. Not only are we speaking of Clauncher, but we're speaking of Clawitzer, the base, like Mac Daddy, the evolved form, and he's got an even bigger claw. I don't think he gets any more or less cranky as he evolves, but he just has a bigger tool to show how cranky he is. And now we're down to the Generation 7 crabs here. These guys are actually crabs, I believe. And we have Crabrawler, the fighting type. Now, you know, Crabrawler, he's constantly looking to pick a fight. Crabrawler's constantly looking to pick a fight. I don't think he's I mean, I don't know if it's out of anger or if he just is really trying to just train his punching powers, but I think all those battles and all the bruises he's gotten has actually left him in the scornful shrimp category. I would put Crabrawler up there as a scornful shrimp. And then lastly here, we of course have our last one. That is Crabominable. Boy, oh boy, that is a difficult Pokemon to say. Crabominable. Now this guy is kind of weird. He's based off like a Yeti, I think, a Yeti crab. The big foot. I mean, look, he doesn't even have claws anymore. He's lost his claws. You know what that means? That actually means he's a little bit less cranky. I'm gonna say he's a little bit less cranky. He's got a little bit of chubbiness on him. He's been cooled down in the snow, and I'm actually gonna put him down here as a prickly prawn. Now, you guys may disagree with some of these statements. You may think, well, oh, Fried Vice, you forgot about so-and-so Pokemon. How could you leave out Slowbro? It's technically based off of a hermit crab. No, it's not a crab. Get out of here. Oh, you left out some of the other isopods. Oh my gosh, how could you? No, get them out of here. We're just looking at the crabbiest crabs of all the crabs. And this is our definitive tier list here of the seething scallops, the scornful shrimp, the moody mollusks, the prickly prawns, and the lovely lobsters. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, please leave a like, subscribe down below. We're going to be doing some more tier lists like this. We're going to be doing some more content like this. We have a lot of Pokemon stuff coming out. But you know what? Sometimes here we just like to do just throw out a random tier list based off of whatever I feel like. So please leave a comment down below with what tier list you'd like to see coming up in the future. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. And without further ado, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.